Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode number 11 of Pokemon Spectrum. A lot happened in the last session, and we are going to roll right into it. Today's session is going to be a special confessional session. Ooh. For those of you who don't know what that is or what I'm talking about, you'll find out. You'll notice. It'll be quite obvious. So, let's start with the warm-up question. And this is a revisit of a previous question I asked near the beginning. So, I just kind of want to... Sometimes I want to re-ask the same question throughout the session just to see how things have changed or evolved, if at all. And it is the question again about... at this point in the game now, which character do you trust the most? And which character do you trust the least? And why? And this is specifically, again, for your trainers, not for your Pokemon. Although, I could ask that both. I could ask that from both perspectives. So, from your trainer's perspective, which of the other trainers do you trust most and least? And then from your Pokemon's perspective, which of the other Pokemon do you trust most and least? And if you want to ask me of that question of any of the NPCs, you may.
Hey, what about Madame Vu?
Oh God, that's a good one.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I'm fantastic at this game.
And you...
Although she hasn't met everyone.
Yes, she has.
Oh, she's met everyone.
Yeah, true.
Yes,
Who
she has.
Who does she trust the most? Of you five, the one that she trusts the most, it's between... I'm gonna say Noir, just because they do have some common ground. So, you know, birds of a feather and all that. I think that's pretty obvious. Although if I had to pick somebody second to Noir, it would be Molly. Just because Molly is more genuine than Noir. Or can be more genuine than Noir. So yeah, that'll be my answer for trust the most. As far as trust the least... It's actually not Chase. It would be either Cassie or Tiffany, actually. I'm trying to think which one she would necessarily trust less. See, the thing with both Cassie and Tiffany is Tiffany is slightly more predictable than Cassie, at least at this point in her life. At this point in Tiffany's life, she's more predictable. So I don't know if that's the same as trusting, because that you know what she's going to do. Ooh, this is hard. But, you know, Cassie does have her shady past, which Madame Vu may or may not know about.
And totally stole leaves last session.
She used them for good.
She used them for good. Yeah, I'm gonna say Cassie she trusts the least. Yeah,
all right.
I'll say that. I said that. We'll address the Fanpy in the room, or the Fanpy not in the room.
Good to know.
Trust the most. Is it Tiffany or is it Cassie? It's actually the opposite of Madame Vu. I feel like with Cassie, she's been straightforward with it. Like, she's very direct with her insults, even like she just stops things, and he needs to be stopped sometimes, and he does trust that. But she has a shady past, which he doesn't know yet. And so with Tiffany, it's still the same reasoning of she is who she is on the surface, and it's not really, he doesn't have to question that. And so, probably for it might be ignorance too that he trusts Tiffany, and he's also afraid that maybe that's why she's hiding something, because no one's perfect, and so it's a little conundrum there. And then for trust the least is actually Molly at this point, almost easily Molly, because of the secret thing that came out, and she wouldn't answer it, and I think that's really what rubbed him the wrong way. It's he didn't feel like that was her character, and so her throwing him off like that has really made him question, like, he knows what it's like to hide things. And so for someone to want to hide something that much, it's because they've done something shady. So anyway, so there you go. And then for the Pokemon, for trust the most, not Noir, it would probably be, holy smokes, that was actually really hard. I mean, trust the least is Noir. I was going to leave that for last, but okay, I will start with this one. So trust the least is Noir, only because he wants to care, but he feels that she's very, not so much impulsive, but that she's still dealing with things that she hasn't come to terms with, and he gets dragged along the way. And him being dragged along the way means he's not in control of whatever life is around him, and that's something that he's very aware of. And so her having the nightmares and things lifting off the counters, like that's something that freaks him out, because he's in his mind, he's like, well, if anyone takes control of her, she can't get herself together, then a lot of people are going to be in trouble because she becomes a weapon. And that's what scares him the most. And then for trust the most, I mean, he hasn't really gotten to know Tiffany outside of her combing his wonderful fur. Cassie sort of stays out of his way. He probably wouldn't like Chase off the bat. And then it would be Molly. I guess he would trust Molly. She's someone who hasn't really done anything. She's done things to help people around Remy, and so he would have seen that she's sort of the person who brings people together and tries to help, tries to be endearing to people. So.
Tiffany, who she trusts the most right now is Noir. She just feels like she has more of her life together. She is taking care of her younger brother. That's very noble and honorable where Tiffany's concerned. Least, I'm sorry to say this now, is actually Chase, just because he runs off too much. Even last session, it's like, no, how about we send Noir down, who could do barrier and could get herself out of there quicker than you? Instead of you, who's someone who's afraid of enclosed spaces. No, I'm a go. Fine. So that would be for Tiffany. For Lux, this was a fun question, actually, when we turned around to the humans. Well, obviously, he trusts his brother the most, because obviously, that's his bro. Least is probably Noir, just based off of the first interactions he saw with them, where Chase was super tense, he was zipped up, he was on his guard.
Who Molly trusts the least at the moment? It's actually Cassie. So funny, because I remember the first time I answered this, she trusted Cassie the most, and now she trusts her the least. Not necessarily because she thinks she's going to do something wrong, but Molly is actually pretty intimidated by Cassie because of how smart she is. And Molly's not a smart person, and she knows it. And so the fact that Cassie is younger than her and still knows so much more than she does, it's actually very intimidating. And for who she trusts the most, it's actually Chase at this time. Even given their shared history, and even after the events of the last session, she still trusts Chase the most, and for reasons that may or may not come up in this session. But she still trusts Chase, no matter what he did back then. For Ew, of course he trusts Tiffany the most, but if we're gonna go outside of his trainer, I'm gonna say he trusts Chase the most, just because Chase has come up to him many times without being disgusted or anything, just picked him up without hesitating, and I think that would mean a lot to Ew. So yeah, and then in terms of who he trusts the least, it's much harder, actually. But I'm gonna say Noir, just because he also doesn't trust Remy very much, and I think he would associate the Pokemon and the trainers together more than the other Pokemon would. Because looking at it from basically a child standpoint, which is how I've been playing Ew, I think it's hard for him to separate trainer from Pokemon. at this time. So I think because he doesn't trust Remy, he also doesn't trust Noir. And again, it's not because he thinks Remy will do something bad. It's just the slapping the berries out of the glitch Pokemon's hands when they were seemed like they were making some progress, and also trying to keep the secret of what happened to them as they were leaving. Yeah, Ew is he's not on the best terms with Remy at the moment.
Nor trusts Cassie the least.
Oh.
Sorry. But with like for good reason. There's been reveals about the Team Rocket thing being hidden. She also knows that Cassie did say, "Oh, maybe Team Rocket was behind that bombing." It's like, obviously didn't leave on good terms. That's dangerous. Also, the whole leaves thing. It's like, you could have solved this murder mystery. You directly lied to Nora and Chase. Like, if she was upfront about it, Nora would be like, "Oh yeah, you can keep those. Yeah, I get it. You want to save them for a good time, help maybe to solve your father's murder. No, I can get that." But she didn't say that, so it's like, what other things are you hiding? We'll trust most at this stage. It's really close between Tiffany and Molly, but Molly slightly more. Mainly just because of how kind and considerate she views Molly in her mind, and so far she kind of really admires Molly's what she sees to be kind of innocence, but not really innocence because she knows like beef and stuff, like, but she just seems so less wildery to Noir, but yeah. Whereas Fern, she trusts Cassie the most, of course, because Cassie's her trainer. Who she trusts the least, this was really hard because Fern's super trusting. But who she trusts least would probably be Chase, just because she doesn't really know much about him, and he keeps like barging into the apartment, making accusations, and then like barging back out again.
Man, was that 3 people? Cassie's at the very bottom of the list. I just have to clarify. Was that 3 people? Okay. So I guess I'll start with Bullet. Yeah, obviously enough. Molly is his most trusted. And then I'd say that Tiffany's probably his least. And not that he like doesn't trust her or, you know, anyone in that list, but I think a lot of what he's looking at is like kind of the battle situations where, you know, everything really mattered and all that. And so, you know, Chase and Molly immediately rushed in, and, you know, Noir did her thing, and he at least knows, like Cassie and Tiffany have both healed, but he's witnessed that Cassie is also the smart one. And so Petra. Anyway, so I'd say Tiffany just like barely ranked below there. So he's cool with everyone, but as far as like tactical stuff goes, yeah, he has that down. And then as for Cassie, it's kind of hard again too, because I want to say like, you know, trust is such like a blanket term kind of thing, where again it's like, do I trust you with my wallet? Do I trust you with my life? You know, they can be very different things. And so, you know, if it were with life kind of thing, you know, Chase would be the most like, she just assumes that he's Batman, as I think a lot of us do. But just going like normally, Chase is probably at the bottom of that one, because it's one of those things where with Chase, she kind of expects the unexpected, you know, because that's a nicer way of saying the stupidest thing that could be done in the situation. But even though she, you know, knows to expect that, it still catches her off guard so many times, you know, when he'll just run in, or like at the hospital thing, how he just like collapsed over her with his, you know, like IV stuff torn out and whatnot. And most, I think Cassie trusts Tiffany at this point, because everyone else has had, you know, their bits of shadiness or just, not really revealing bits of their past. And Tiffany just seems like she has more of it together, She just seems kind of, the most responsible of the group, the most level-headed, and she can respect that. So, yes.
I have a bonus question to ask everybody. Since we are about, give or take, at the middle point of the campaign, I just wanted to ask each of you, out of character, which NPC would you like to see more of or find out more about?
I'm a big fan of Madison, personally.
Okay. I like her character a lot, too.
I would say Madison or Dr. Pearl.
To be fair, Dr. Pearl would be interesting because she has the whole... I think a lot of us have problems.
Really?
So that could open
We're so
up...
well adjusted.
We should have
open up some
therapy
opportunities.
sessions.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll have a therapy session.
Well, we
Yes.
did see a traumatic murder. Like, it might be mandatory.
Next
group
session, everybody.
therapy sessions.
Start reading those psychology books, Hark. The character.
I would kind of just like Cassie to start cross-examining Pearl in those moments. Wouldn't that be fun?
I would like to see more of Keith.
I mean, like, I can say I'm still interested to see more of, like, I do like Nevi, and I liked, the stuff with Aspen, and I am
Aspen,
curious as to
yes.
where, the Whites went off to. Those are all very Cassie-centric, and so...
Yeah.
So that's just kind of like what she's
Aspen could be
thinking.
interesting, but
I just wanted to express that I am interested in them, but I know they're not really like a group thing at this point in time.
I'm actually curious to see more of Iridessa, to be honest.
Do you consider Iridessa to be Noir's nemesis?
Nemesis.
Little bit, but also, like, do you call it? Given the reveal of what happened at the orphanage, like, Noel's feelings about her are very complicated at the moment.
Well, next time we see her, she's going to die, so.
Maybe.
Personally, I'd like to see a little bit more of Inky. Personally, I think that would be cute as well.
Oh, if we're counting Pokemon
Oh, yeah.
too, then of course.
I said Pokemon. If you want to include that.
I missed it. My bad.
Okay. Let us take it from where we left off. So, you guys are still at the ruins of the orphanage. You actually are in the ruins of the basement.
oh,
Because that's where the vision ended. You're in the basement.
That's still sound.
which actually is probably one of the places that is the least dilapidated because it's underground. Most of the ruins up top has deteriorated over time, but the basement is more or less still intact.
Molly she's very emotionally tired. And so she's just sitting deep in thought, not really listening to anyone else.
How about a perception check?
Sure.
Yeah, I'd be curious if
kinda
this
see
place
what's-
is going to collapse on us.
Well, it would be weird to suddenly have like, if we're in the basement in a vision and everything's like alive, and then suddenly it's all gone again.
Yeah.
Also, could I do an intuition check and the perception check to, like, tell if someone, like, burnt the place or, like, tried to deliberately destroy evidence of stuff which was in the basement?
Yeah.
Which one would that be?
I would say intuition. That sounds about right.
Cool.
You're not sure. As far as your perception rolls, I'm going to say that, Cassie, you're going to find a parched document, half-burnt document. Most of the writing on the document has either faded away or been burned away in the fire. and if you read what you can read, it is a letter from what seems to be the person in charge of this particular orphanage, not the director, as in the psychic woman, but the someone above her. You're getting the gist that this was written to the director from someone above her, and it was basically talking about distributing the children around the world for something, some sort of major plan that they had for these children once they were given nice homes. And it is signed Professor Jaboko, and that is Jubokko. I think you pronounce Jaboko. Anyone who is Japanese might have to correct me, though. Jaboko.
No, that should be it, Jaboko.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cassie can roll a...
I was gonna say, would there be any reason she would possibly know the name?
I'm going to say roll me a paranormal? Occult. Roll me an occult.
Okay. 22?
Nice. Okay, so the name, the professor doesn't ring any bells. You've never heard of a Professor Jaboko, but you do know that in folklore, Jaboko is first of all a type of tree, because all professors in the Pokemon universe are a tree.
Why do you know that, Shay?
Yes. It is known as a vampire tree in folklore, because it appears in formal battlefields where many people have died, and its appearance does not differ that much from ordinary trees. It becomes a yokai tree, is what they also call it, by sucking up large quantities of blood from the dead, because it lives on human blood. When a human being happens to pass by, it supposedly captures the victim and, changing its branches into the shape of a tube, sucks the blood out of the victim. A Juboko that sucks life out of human beings in such a way is said to always maintain a fresh appearance. When a Juboko is cut, blood trickles out, and it is said that a Juboko branch could heal and decontaminate an injured person.
How very interesting. Alright. Alright, so yeah, Cassie, just having found it, would have crouched down, pulled her goggles down. Dark vision, I assume it's dark in here.
Sure.
If not...
Otherwise, why would you have a super awesome spot check?
Right? That's what I figure. It's just have to justify it somehow. So after reading it, she'll lift him up again and just stand up and say, "Hey guys, take a look at this."
Wow. That's over?
She'll hand it over to Tiffany then.
Huh.
Dr. Jaboko. That's the name behind all this. I mean, I don't know who it is, but at least I have a name, and that means I can keep searching for the truth, and I will. I mean, the 12, what was their intention? What were they trying to do? I mean, what have they done? And I convinced Kyle to go along with all this? I mean, what have I done?
Oh, Cassie. Here's this back. Whoever wants to read it, they can. Apparently, the symbol of Team Omni, the people behind this orphanage, apparently, I think it was a Alpha Omega.
Yeah.
The same from the dream world?
Yeah, the group has a name, Team Omni. Symbol is Alpha Omega. Yeah. I'm not liking the implications of this. Especially for Cassie's father. Really hope it's not what I think it could be. Really hope it's not. She goes up to Cassie and whispers, yeah, that might, I don't know if it could be related, but Madame Vu did say the symbol could lead you to answers. maybe the group contacted your father for some reason and they didn't like his answer?
I mean, at this point, your guess is as good as mine, but I'm getting the feeling that a lot of this is connected somehow.
Team Omni, Kyle says, I've never heard of such an organization. That actually probably makes them more of a threat if we don't even know about them. And they've been around, apparently, at least since 14 years ago.
We've seen what they do to people who disobey them and try to go against them.
What bothers me is what exactly they were intending on doing with all of these children. And where are the children, well, the rest of the children now?
Well, you mean all of us? Or, sorry, you and I. Maybe Molly.
But they raised children as weapons and spies for some unknown purpose. Makes me so angry. Calm down. Not like I can do anything about it now.
Yeah, Molly perks up and she's listening more closely now.
Molly was supposed to be one of the children, but I don't know if she ever became fully a part of them.
I think she got away, but you and I didn't.
So, yeah, I did expect the orphanage to be a little, shady, a little creepy, and something was off about it but gosh, that was disturbing.
Honestly, I was following as best as I could, but I can barely understand our discussions on a good day. And Arceus knows I didn't have a good day.
And supposedly, you were all supposed to be separated and distributed around, but you two ended up in about the same place.
Or did we get distributed around? Because if this was my city, how did I end up in Saffron?
When did you come to Saffron?
I don't remember.
Maybe you got kicked out of the clan.
You do have a habit of running off.
Doesn't really go hand in hand with losing your memory.
True.
Well, maybe because you disobeyed once, they maybe thought you probably might disobey again. So like, maybe they consider you a lost cause. I don't know.
Maybe when they lost the Mimikyu, they couldn't do whatever they were going to do to you. Your type was Ghost, wasn't it?
Yep.
Oh. Do you guys think that Charade and Iridessa were children from this orphanage?
Possibly, and they may not have had the same name back in the day.
I know Chase once spoke about someone named Polly who used to invent stories all the time and loved telling stories and wanted to be a writer or something. You said that
Polly.
you do something to remember her, Chase? Maybe she is Charade? Or was Charade? That seems to match.
Was Shard female?
I remember Polly. Yes. She loved baths. She was a clean freak. Germaphobe. She really, really loved baths for some reason.
Huh.
So she'll be our water splicer in the future?
Looks like your memories are...
Everyone roll a focus. Noir, when you were actually scoping out some of the children in the playground, there was one girl that looked a lot like Iridessa. She had very similar features to Iridessa back in the day. When the kids were playing in the playground, there was a child who is making mud pies nearby, Cassie, and you overheard the kid making mud pies calling out to another kid, Rocky.
What did he look like?
Chase, what did he look like?
That was a pretty solid dude. Hard to shift. He was hard to shift when he made up his mind. He was pretty gung ho on staying firm.
Thank you.
Physical descriptors. Oh,
Each one
hair
has
color.
a byline.
Yes.
It's kind of like kind of a sandy brown
Yes.
kind of hair and kind of rough skin.
Come on, is that all you got?
Sort of pale, like limestone.
Yeah, the child who called out to him, Cassie, I'll add more. The child who called out to this kid, Rocky, you don't know his name, but the kid had relatively long, like, bushy hair. Almost Sandshrew-like. Almost.
Okay. Well, I'll go Sand Slash on that, but
Yeah.
Ground
no,
type.
it is.
Digging.
Well, if we're
I
going
mentioned
to
this to the group.
Thank you.
if we're going to ignore coincidences, because at this point that just might be more of a risk than it's worth, it does seem like at least some of the children that were supposedly meant to be for that program, we have run into already. So with that in mind, probably safe to assume that the rest are still out there.
One thing that bothers me is if myself and Molly and Chase are not in that equation, did they find replacements?
Yeah.
I don't know, because your last name doesn't really hint at anything.
Well, Iridessa
Well,
Chile, I'm guessing she hasn't always gone by that. That might not be her family name. It might be just a name she picked up
so
from the job.
sneaky of them to rename themselves that way. No one would ever guess what they're up to.
You might be more careful now.
If we're done here, I did make arrangements at a nearby hotel. I feel like we've all had a very long day, so I suggest that we turn in, get some sleep, clear our heads.
You know, I really wonder how everyone can just move on from the things that we saw. I mean, Ian seems to be taking everything quite well, considering. Meanwhile, I'm freaking out at the sight of blood. Maybe everyone else is just stronger than I am.
I will. I'm just gonna stay here a few more minutes, and I'll meet you back at the hotel.
Yes, the one
If that's okay
hotel
with
in all
everybody.
of Castelia City. I'm sure you'll find us.
Just give me the address.
Are you sure you'll be okay doing that?
What a shock. Yet again, Chase is running off by himself. Like always, because we're not supposed to be like a team or something. No, apparently we're just his backup singers or whatever.
It's easier for me to get away when I don't have anybody around me. That makes it a liability. So whatever happens, I'll get away. I'll come back to you. I'm not going to face anything alone.
Yeah, but this is kind of a dangerous place to be, knowing what we know from those visions. Like,
This is a
like
ghost
this
house
is
at this
like
point.
ground zero.
Everything's
I
dead
have
here.
no idea what could be here.
Silence.
Molly's gonna say, "Come on, guys. He needs this. He'll be okay."
All right, but we're not sleeping till he checks back in with us, so you know what you'll be missing, Chase.
I'll only need 15 minutes. I'll catch up. Dark, ghost, fire.
I mean, I don't even get to enjoy being in the dark with Kyle because Chase is being Chase. Seriously, not fair.
Lieutenant Jenny will write down the address of the hotel on a piece of paper and will inform you that he'll inform the person at the front desk to expect you to tell you which room you're in. Officer Jenny is going to turn in at the hotel. Whether or not the rest of you follow him is up to you, but that's what he's going to do, is to go to the hotel. And if anyone's not doing that, let me know what you're doing instead.
I think Molly she also wants to have some alone time, so she's going to go into the hotel room and just kind of lay down on the bed.
Okay.
Not
Tiffany
falling
needs
asleep,
to get
just laying
cleaned
down.
up before she heads out. Are we sharing rooms or are we separate?
I think that they have rooms for 2 people apiece. So there's 6 of you total. So 2 people in a room. You can decide. I'm assuming the girls are probably going to be paired up in some way, and the boys will be in another room.
Tiffany's fine with whoever.
Well, Molly's already in one. Whoever wants to join.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I think Cassie probably would have parted ways like at the hotel, so gone with them up to that point, but then before going in, branched off. And
Well,
say goodbye and
I'm going
everything.
to mention, before you even get to the hotel, I'm going to mention that right next door to the hotel, you see this very long line of people going into a ice cream shop called the Castilla Cone. And there's a big logo on the top and the sign that has a Vanillite, I think is the name of the Pokemon. There's a Vanillite is, I guess, their mascot. But yeah, apparently there's a whole bunch of people going in and out of this ice cream shop, and people seem to be really enjoying their goods. So Kyle's probably going to notice the ice cream shop, and he's probably going to mention, "I've heard good things about this place. I might have to come back and pick up some when the line is a little shorter." I'll say that Cassie, you know about this place, and the line is never short. Good luck with that, Lieutenant Cheney.
Would she know about how long the line usually lasts, like at the length it currently is?
I mean, it moves relatively quickly, so I would say that once you're in line, you'll probably get to the counter in 15 minutes.
Okay.
Relatively quickly.
What's the opening and closing hours?
So
Is there on the side?
because this ice cream shop is so popular, it actually goes pretty late. So I would say that they actually don't close until midnight.
And what time now would it be?
I would say it's the sun set. I think the sun is setting. It is setting currently. So we'll say 6 or 7,
Okay.
roughly along those lines. This is the city that never sleeps. So a lot of shops are still going to be open until really late. We'll say that Cassie ends up in Molly's room. So Cassie, when you come into the room, I guess to drop off your bags or whatever you brought with you, Molly's going to just get onto the bed. And what is Molly's disposition? Does she look troubled? Does she look upset? Is she like stoic? What does she look like at the moment?
She definitely looks troubled, and she's just kind of laying on the bed, arms folded across her chest, just looking at the ceiling.
Then yeah, she'll step into the room, presumably shortly afterward, and drop her bags and head into the bathroom to just briefly make sure she's not covered in muck or whatever. But seeing Molly too, she'll just call back. So, how are you doing?
I've been better, honestly.
Will that whole vision thing clear anything up for you?
Honestly, the vision isn't what's bothering me.
Is it the poly world?
Yeah.
So, at that point, she'll turn the sink off and turn around fully and ask, you want to talk about it now?
It's not something I like to talk about. I'm sure you understand. Maybe I can at least tell you where the Poliwhirl thing comes from.
I mean, you don't have to tell me anything, but I figure if getting it off your chest might help a little bit.
Quick question. What exactly did I say while I was freaking out? I can't really remember other than saying Poliwhirl.
So yeah, she'll shrug her shoulders a little bit, and her gaze will trail off to the side and say, definitely a lot about the Poliwhirl, Irene, whoever that may be, and blood, if I recall correctly.
Molly says, I see. So the Poliwhirl thing and the Irene thing are actually two separate events, but I guess sometimes they just get mixed up. The first thing I remember, it's one of the earliest memories I can remember. I think I might have been around 3 years old, maybe 4, I'm not sure. I don't know where this was. It might have been a daycare, it might have been an orphanage. I really don't know. What I remember is sitting on the floor of a classroom or play area for children. There was a teacher there, or a caretaker, and I remember she was fairly new. She wasn't sure how to deal with all the kids, so she let us just do whatever we wanted. There were 2 boys. They were throwing things at each other, just playing catch. And I was just sitting somewhere minding my own business. Out of character, Molly's gonna start reliving this memory. She's not focused on Cassie anymore. She's just stating what happened as it's happening. I feel something hit me on the back of the head. I stumble forward and I'm just stunned. And I realize that no one else is talking anymore. All the children have stopped playing, even the caretaker. She's not saying anything. I glance behind me and I see drops of blood on the floor. I reach behind me. Oh, Arceus. My hands are covered in blood. There's blood. There's blood on the back of my head. The caretaker doesn't know what to do. She runs out of the room. Some of the children follow her. Of course, that just scares me more. Where's everyone going? They're just leaving. I start to cry. And then the Poliwhirl, he steps in front of me. Molly snaps out of it a little bit. She looks at Cassie and she says, the Poliwhirl was like the teacher's assistant. I remember he was very good with children, and he always played with us and he took care of us. I remember he just took me into his arms and he held me very close to him, just comforting me until the caretaker came back with the nurse. And I reached up with my finger and I started tracing the swirl on his stomach. And honestly, I can't remember what happened after that. And Molly will reach behind her and she'll feel the back of her head and she says, if you really reach under my hair, you can still feel the scar.
What even was it that hit you?
The 2 boys who were throwing throwing things back and forth. I think it might have been a toy car or something. But they were rough housing, and they just hit me in the back of the head.
No, I get it. That could freak you out at a young age.
Thinking about how tiny my hands might have been, it probably wasn't that much blood, but it certainly looked that way to me.
No one's so young. Blood is such a strange new concept. No, I don't blame you. Sorry to hear about all that.
That's not the reason. That's not the full reason I freaked out, but polywhirls and swirling shapes have been a big symbol of comfort for me.
And Irene?
She was my foster mom. Do you really want me to go into all that too?
Not if you don't want to.
I was about 14 years old. I had been with the Rays for maybe about 3 months. I didn't want to open up to them. They did their best. They really did their best. But I just didn't want to open myself up for disappointment or betrayal, which has happened before. It happens up to a lot of foster kids, unfortunately. Irene and I, we went to the park. There was this just very nice, very quiet walking trail. We weren't talking. She just let me walk in silence. I think she was used to it by that point. I still don't know where he came from, but there was a Maitina. He was either very badly trained, or maybe he was recently caught from the wild, but next thing I knew, there was just this Maitina charging toward us. I didn't move. I just watched him coming. Next thing I know, Irene had put herself between me and him. And Molly starts kind of shaking and going into panic again. He bit her. All of her whole arm was bitten. Her shoulder, close to her neck, there was just bite marks and there was blood everywhere. She put herself between him and me to protect me. At some point I fell to the ground and she was just covering me with herself. Somehow the Maitina went away, but she was just there. I remember looking up at her and she looked at me, Cassie. She looked straight at me and she said, "Molly, are you all right?" I was covered in her blood and she was asking me if I was okay. Finally, she was able to go to the hospital. She was okay. They were able to fix her up. But I was sitting in the waiting room, still covered in her blood. And Dylan came. And he came to me. The first thing he did was he threw his arms around me and also said, "Molly, Thank Arceus you're okay. They were the only people who ever loved me. They were the only foster parents who ever loved me. And I threw it in their faces. In the end.
Cassie, throughout, has, had been debating, going over to the bed and, in an attempt, of course, to comfort Molly, but instead just ended up remaining where she had stood. But by the end of that, she'd finally make herself walk forward and take a seat beside her, stifling a bit of a sigh and shaking her head and saying, "You definitely didn't have the intention to, You got scared. Anyone would get scared like that in that situation. Was it the right decision? Maybe not, but it's not something you should blame yourself for."
When I ran away, I actually stole money out of Dylan's wallet. Not only did I run away, but I stole from them. I've broken into houses. I've taken things from people's pockets. I've stolen from children. I've stolen lunch money from children. But stealing from Dylan, it's the worst thing I've ever done.
I feel like if you had asked him, he would have given you the money all the same. I know this goes without saying, but those two, they really did care for you.
I've always known it. How could I face them again? I know Tiffany said she would try to find their contact information, but it's very, my emotions are so complicated,
As long as you could, take that meeting, I know that they would accept you. However you feel you may have wronged them, I know that just seeing you again and knowing you're all right, I know that would mean more to them than any amount of money you could have stolen.
Well, sorry for the therapy session.
No, it's fine. I'm glad you're able to open up.
Cassie intimidates me a little bit. She's just so smart.
Holy shit, why is being there for people so hard sometimes? I genuinely care about Molly, I really do, but the whole time she was talking, I was just thinking about, what exactly was wrong, what exactly was triggering her, that I didn't even go over there and comfort her right away. And then as soon as I did, I'm just trying to think of what I can say to fix the problem as though it's something in my control, as though it's that simple that I could just wave my hand, say a few magic words, and it would be done with,
Cassie and I survived an explosion together. And she's come out of it relatively unscathed. Meanwhile, I'm still freaking out about things that happened years ago. Am I just so much weaker than everyone?
Who am I to think that I have that kind of power over Molly's life? We have similarities, of course, but clearly we have different lives. I don't know.
Everyone's smarter than me. It wouldn't really surprise me if I am weaker than them too.
Just kind of afraid I'd things up.
I don't mind being here by myself. I actually want to make a phone call, but yeah,
Yeah, I could get out of your hair.
Thanks, Cassie.
No problem. So I'm gonna go wander the city for a bit, but I thought I might grab a Castelia cone on the way back. Do you want one?
Sure. Thanks.
She'll smile a little and nod and get up and start heading toward the door. And after opening it, she sets a hand on the door jamb and glances back again and just says, they never did stop looking for you. If that means anything.
How would you know that?
Her smile weakens a bit and she half shrugs and says, I ran into Dylan one time. He was a good guy. And with that, she'll walk out.
Yeah, Molly's just sitting there confused, like, not sure what to say about that.
She can't have her roommate hating her. That night would be so awkward.
So, I'm rooming with Tiffany. She seems nice, dependable.
Well, first thing is, okay, let's see how much damage was done going through that tunnel to hair, clothing, makeup.
There might have been a small, tear in your outfit. Nothing that you can't
Fix
patch,
it, but
though.
still. Well,
Yeah.
I brought extra clothes for a reason. Nora, I'm probably gonna go into the city for a while. Do you want to tag along, or do you have plans?
I'd probably go and make a few phone calls, check up on Baby and then Remy. I want to do,
yeah, we should totally check up on them.
Yeah, see how they're going. Maybe they'll be out by now.
Yeah, well, they were heading toward the beat last time we called, and that was before them. Yeah, all of that happened.
Yeah. How are you holding up? There was a lot of
seeing my mom
today.
again and crying and everyone leaving, except for Kyle, person who's known me the least
Wait,
amount of
you're
time.
crying? Of
Yeah.
joy or sadness?
Both.
Oh.
I haven't seen my mom in 9 years, so seeing her happy, healthy, telling a story I've heard her tell 5 million times to me as a kid.
If I may interject, I gave Petra the contents of the note that was scribbled into Wade Fernandez's yearbook.
And I'm gonna go talk to Cassie about that soon.
So the yearbook is from the university in Castelia City, which is an actual place in the game. So one would deduce that perhaps Emerald and Wade went to the university together there in Castelia City. And the letter reads as follows. Dearest Wade, the last 2 years have been such a whirlwind of events. From skiing the slopes of Snow Point, to screaming on the fastest roller coasters in Nimbasa, and of course, the breathtaking views atop the Aspertia Mountains, where we had our first kiss. You had always such an adventurous heart. Your energy and courageous spirit has been something I've admired since we first met. I can't wait to see what the future holds for the two of us. Looking forward to our trip to Hoenn to explore the ruins of Soatopolis and beyond. Having an amazing summer. Have an amazing summer. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of each other. Love always, Emmy. X's and O's, X's and O's.
So, were you happy that you got to hear that story one last time?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't know that you wanted. Did you want people around with that, or was that something you wanted to be private?
I don't know. I just knew my last friendship ended because I felt abandoned. So, yeah. I have issues.
Oh.
I hide them pretty well, but...
Okay. Well, if you hide them pretty well, then you need to come tell us so we know.
Everyone just kind of ran off. At that point, I was pretty much focused on what was directly in front of me.
Yeah. The whole thing with her mother at the orphanage. I understand why she's a little worried, but if I was her, I'd be overjoyed. Like, seeing a dead parent walking around a 3D version, even if you can't interact with it, wouldn't that be amazing? I'd be at the top of the moon.
Noir, sweetie, I get you're trying to be nice. I get that. I do. The thing is, I'm a Benoit. We don't talk about our emotions. It's just not how I was raised. It's nice for you to try, but it's almost a little too late, you know? How are your parents? Or
my parents.
Right. Never mind. Sorry, bad question.
Yeah. Well, a few years back, my father died. That happened. But he was a great father before then. Amazing, great cook, horrible singer. Also pretty bad at math, but he had his best friend to like handle the business side of things at the cafe. So,
Oh, is that why you're a barista now?
yeah, it's what I have experience in. Tiffany asked me about my parents. I didn't really say anything about my mother because I don't like talking about her. But I got to talk to someone about my father. It wasn't Fabian, who just goes, "Oh, it's great." Although it did highlight something for me. I said to her that he was a bad singer. I can't quite remember why he was a bad singer. If he just didn't hit the notes right or sounded bad somehow. Selfish, but I kind of wish I saw him at the orphanage. But yeah, it's probably for the best.
Well, I feel like Matt, I do hide my emotions pretty well at times. Except for when I'm all snappish, which I swear I never used to be before I met all of you people. You people are kind of ruining my cool. Just saying. I need to get changed if I am going out.
Yeah.
Actually,
well,
no, I'm calling on the Pokemon first, then I'm going to get changed.
Okay. Can we make
Take
that what do you call it? The call where it's everyone here at everyone
call.
what's it called?
Yeah.
Okay,
Can you pop next door and grab Molly, Cassie? See if
Yeah,
Chase
that's
has
a good idea.
shown
They're
up
probably
eventually.
curious too.
We last saw you at the orphanage. What do you do?
Chase wanders around the orphanage just to try to prompt any further memories that he possibly can, but he's slowly coming to terms with the fact that maybe those memories aren't meant to come back, or that he's meant to move past them. So he wanders off to the playground again, to where the sandbox is, and he'll sit on the edge of the sandbox, and he'll actually be thinking of the dream world while he's sitting at the edge of the sandbox, because that seemed to be the place that he could be more in control of. And he'll look at the sand, and he'll start doodling in the sand. He draws a dragon on one side, and then he draws a knight, and he draws a flaming sword in the hand of the knight. And then he'll start drawing some spirals to the other side of the knight. And then he'll start whispering to himself, "Dark, ghost, fire." And he'll point at this flame sword in the knight's hand. And then he starts drawing something at the side of the spiral, and it's in the shape of a bird. Dark, ghost, fire. And he starts drawing flames over the bird. "The dark is my past, ghost is my present, and fire is my future." It says, "Ho-Oh, you are my future. This was it. This was the moment. all the rest of this is the past, and he brushes away the sand, destroys the image. So all that's there is Ho. And then he pulls out his 2 brass knuckles. He has replaced them recently. So he pulls out the old ones that he's had since he was 14, almost as far back as you can remember. That's what he used to defend himself. And he looks down at the brass knuckles, and across each of the knuckles, he's actually scraped a word in each of the knuckles. And on one of the brass knuckles, it says M-O-O-N. And then he looks at the other knuckle, and it says K-Y-L-E. And he says, this is my past. This is what reminded me of what I fought for. And he looks at Moon, and when I was willing to fight against. And he looks at Kyle, and he digs a hole in the sand, and he puts the brass knuckles inside the hole. And then he just says, Dark Ghost Fire. This is my past. And he covers the knuckles. I'm moving forward into the future. I'm done with this place. And he leaves.
So I think Cassie will have left by the time that Noir and Tiffany will come to their room. So I'm assuming Tiffany or Noir will knock on the door.
Yep.
Molly she's tempted to ignore it, but finally she does get
Oh,
up
Tiffany's
and
gonna
open
keep
the door.
knocking. She assumes someone's in there.
Yeah, she will open the door.
Hi, there you are. Peeks past her. Where's Cassie?
She actually stepped out. She said she's gonna go out and do some stuff, but she'll be back later.
Okay. Any sign of Chase, or should I go next door and ask?
I can't say I've seen him. Sorry.
Okay, I'll go double check. Goes over. I'm assuming she'd know which room Kyle's and Chase are in.
Yes.
Knocks.
Yep. The door doesn't open right away. Do you knock again?
Yep.
You knock again, and then you hear shuffling on the other side, and the door opens. The door opens, and Kyle, the reason why it took forever for him to get to the door is because he was in the shower.
Hey.
Kyle's in a towel right now.
Oh.
Well, there's a side of the lieutenant none of us expected to see.
We learned something about the lieutenant today. He's very yeah, I thought I knew he was, attractive, but whoa.
Yes, his eyes are up there. Yes, they are.
Wow, did Tiffany go beet red?
I think the towel was white, by the way. Don't ask. Yes, I'm.
I sense opportunity for some romance.
Yeah, Noir. Can't keep Noir out of the room for a couple hours. I'm just saying.
Young love. She's still young. So beautiful.
Yes.
Tiffany, he says. And he looks good, Tiffany.
Yes, and very much eyes are there.
He looks
His
good.
eyes are up there. Those eyes are very pretty. Okay.
He does have nice eyes.
Is
Other
Chase
things
back,
too.
Or,
But other things.
noticeably starts blushing.
He says, sorry, Chase hasn't come back yet.
Okay. Well, if he shows up, just let him know. We're gonna check in on our Pokemon. Yeah, they're off doing their own thing right now.
Should we be concerned? He asks.
Well, before we went into the orphanage, they were getting close to the beat for Tim, so hopefully they are done and they're back, and I should go. Yes. Enjoy your shower.
Have a good night, he says.
You too.
And then
yeah.
he'll shut the door.
She is beat red by now. Not one word. Second, that door is shut.
And Jet Black. Jet Black has jet black fuzziness, just so you know. Fuzziness.
Good to know.
Jet black fuzziness. Anyway, go ahead.
Looks at them both.
Well-
Not one word in room. Proceeds
you
to go in and shut door.
Tiffany. Maybe you should lie down. Take a break. Take a breather.
Well, not the sights I was expecting to see today. Right, Pokemon! Our
Maybe you should
team,
cool off
our-
with some ice cream.
Yeah, we should do that. What?
Oh,
Why does our
and
kids keep
maybe
talking
you
to me
should
today?
push the Kenneth ice cream cone.
That is definitely.
You might need to go down too.
She is dialing Madison.
Molly's just kind of chuckling, and she'll close the door and just lay back down.
You okay? You were really rattled at the mansion today.
Molly's just gonna answer from the bed and say, I talked to Cassie about it a little bit. Maybe I'll tell you guys about it later, but for now, I'd rather not rehash it again.
No, it's quite all right. Finally finishes dialing last number for Madison.
Madison will pick up the phone. Hello, this is Madison.
Hey, you. How's our team doing?
Oh, Tiffany, hi.
Hello.
Well, good news.
1 second, I'm putting you on speaker so everyone can hear, and then sets phone down on table.
Well, good news. Rookie Nevi and I just wanted to let you all know that your Pokemon managed to find another city where the beeping was getting louder, but apparently the city is not where the signal is coming from. It's actually past that. So last we heard from them, they were leaving that city and said that they were getting very close to wherever Timmy is. So I think, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll find him hopefully within the next hour or so.
Okay.
Pokemon are going well with their mission. They almost got Rotom. They're having way better success rate than we are. Although Madison seems happier. Like maybe her life isn't that ruined. Maybe this is an opportunity for her. Yeah, no, I can't convince myself of that. It's gonna be awkward when I get back, but as long as Remy is okay, everything's gonna be fine. Like, it's a computer. Like, a digital world isn't real. It's not like they can get hurt, so it'll be fine. No need to worry.
All right. Keep us posted, okay?
How are you all doing?
I see Kyle in a towel. I should not have said that out loud. Blushes even harder.
She said, "You talking about that hunky lieutenant?"
Exactly. Yes.
Oh, she says, I mean, I'm still a little sour about stuff that's been going on between the two of us in the past. Not like that. Not like that.
Oh, good,
But,
because I have to fight you. I'm just saying, I do not always fight fair.
I don't think I'd ever be able to date a cop. No offense, rookie, she says as she turns towards Nevi. And you can hear Nevi in the distance say, "No offense taken."
Oh, you two would be cute. Okay, keep us posted, okay?
Oh yeah, we absolutely will. How late are you guys going to be up tonight?
I'm probably going to be up pretty late. Guys?
It's hard to say. I might be up a few more hours.
Can you guys do me a quick favor while you guys are over there?
Sure.
I've heard some great things about the ice cream in Castelia City. Do you think maybe you guys might be able to bring me back some?
Pauses, looks at people like, how would that transport?
Well, I guess we could try, Madison. I don't know. I'll ask everyone for ideas.
If you can get me back some, I really love the rocky roads, especially.
All right. We'll see what we can do. Just a little concerned about melting, but we'll try.
She squeals a bit and she says, well, I'm sure you guys are creative enough to think of something that you could use to transport it over here.
Yeah, but her ice type's in the computer. I'm sure Fern could have handled this.
True. Well, if you guys are able to swing it, that'd be great. And then you can hear somebody call on the phone, "How about me?" That's Rookie Nevi.